Coming up on the news at 5, a man has been sentenced to 100 years in prison for the murder of his wife and daughter. Then, protesters stuck to downtown Anchorage on International Women's Day. We have what they have to say. And President Trump is threatening new sanctions. We have who he is targeting.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Thank you for joining us on your news at 5. I'm Adelmi Ruiz. A man charged with the 2019 murder of his wife and daughter pleaded guilty Tuesday morning. Tylen Lee Kaulana Feli appeared in court on Friday, where he was handed his sentence by Anchorage Superior Court Judge Jack McKenna. That sentence is 100 years in prison without the eligibility of parole for a minimum of 55 years. The hearing, described to us as highly emotional, was attended by family members who spoke about how loved the victims Cecilia and Nevaeh both were. Once the sentence had been read, Judge McKenna reassured the living family members that they, quote, will find light and joy again. It will come, it will be different, but you will find that, end quote. In honor of International Women's Day, protesters walked through downtown Anchorage today during an organized women's march. The march began at Town Square Park and wound its way down 6th and 5th Avenues. People were carrying signs and chanting together. The march focused on issues surrounding women's rights, but signs and chants called attention and objection to the current presidential administration.
And I think it's very important that as women, we stand up for our rights, and we are but one of many groups that are being denigrated by the current administration, and our rights are being taken away.
We're concerned about the future of all women and owning our bodies and our rights, and we need more women in Congress to stand up, as well as men and women in science and our children and our grandchildren's future, our schools, access to health. We could go on and on.
In addition to the focus on women, many of the protesters raised issue with the Department of Government Efficiency and its head, Elon Musk. The protest is just weeks after recent layoffs within certain federal departments, including the U.S. Forest Service, NOAA, and national parks. Over 1,000 Alaskans are probationary federal workers and may be included in those layoffs. The executive order signed by President Trump enacts mass terminations and states its directive is to eliminate waste and empower American families, workers, taxpayers, the system of government itself.
We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon, and I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to for the sake of our country. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat.
President Trump is now threatening sanctions and tariffs against Russia until a peace deal is reached in its war with Ukraine. While closer to home, his plans to place tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada is in flux. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
Overnight in eastern Ukraine, authorities said Russian missile strikes hit multiple apartment buildings, injuring dozens and killing at least 11 people. The fighting remains fierce, while in Washington, President Trump is exploring a different tactic to end it.
Right now, they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine.
The president says he's strongly considering sanctions and tariffs on Russia until it agrees to a ceasefire.
In terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards.
After the tense Oval Office meeting with Ukraine's president, talks between the U.S. and Ukraine are set to resume next week, with officials meeting overseas. Meanwhile, Trump is now threatening reciprocal tariffs against Canada, targeting some lumber and dairy imports.
Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products.
This week, Trump postponed his plan for 25% tariffs on many Mexican and Canadian goods. The whiplash is creating confusion in industry and agriculture.
We just need to know what we're working for, around, with.
The talk of more tariffs obviously are wreaking havoc at the moment with the grain market.
The White House says the tariff pause will last 1 month. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Now switching gears, let's head over to the Weather Center for a first look at the forecast with meteorologist Robert Forget.
Well, the big words, two words, are spring ahead, and that's tonight. Want to set those clocks ahead as we move into spring. And today, wow, it did feel like spring. Take a look around our state right now. Temperature around 28 in Fairbanks. We're seeing upper 30s here in Anchorage, Kodiak 39, 39 also in Juneau, and we're seeing 39 down in Unalaska. Boy, temperatures fairly nice and rather nice weather with sunshine in Fort Yukon, Denali, where they're seeing 23, 16 in Fort Yukon. We're seeing 28 in Fairbanks as well as Nenana. They're both seeing clouds with that. And Fairbanks, 29 the high, 23 the low, normally 21 and -8, so way above normal. And certainly seeing that around the south central area where we're seeing sunshine through many locations, 39 from Talkeetna and 37 in Kenai. We're seeing 44 in Cordova under sunny skies. The almanac for Anchorage, 39 the high, 23 the low, normally 31, 17. No records, but certainly it has been a beautiful spring day throughout much of the state of Alaska. Forecast real quick. We're looking at a chance of some scattered showers tomorrow in the Anchorage area. Sunny, though, for us in Fairbanks. Looking at a little bit of rain in Juneau and throughout the southeast. And Bethel, looking at cloudy skies. Temperatures 30s or above through all those areas. I'll have the complete state forecast coming up, plus the Iditarod forecast.
Thank you, Robert. Midtown Mall in Anchorage hosted a craft fair alongside their usual Saturday farmers market today. Shoppers had their choice of handmade goods and products made by local Alaskan vendors, from woodworking to hand-knit plushies. The fair was held alongside the mall's usual Saturday farmers market, running from 11 a.m. to 4.
Some people, they put a lot of time and love and effort when they do handmade stuff. And it's really nice that when people appreciate it, like you, when you saw it, it's so nice. I love it. They don't have to buy, but sometimes when they say, oh, this is so cute, it makes me really happy.
The farmers market will continue to run every Saturday in March and April with Alaskan grown produce, bread, pastries, and more.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.